and what you're building right now?
Well, I've been building for many years, but I would say it's more about community now than ever before.
Mhm.
And it's really been since becoming a mother myself, how much I have realized that there is such a lack of community for us as mothers, for families. And essentially, where things are at right now is I'm listening more to my intuition more than ever before, Mandy. I'm also listening to you.
And I'm connecting with your intuition. We're having a conversation.
Yeah. Um, I'm listening to my intuition, I'm listening to my heart, and I'm seeing the gaps, and I'm putting all of that together, and I'm creating community in a way that it doesn't exist. And that is helping mothers in a way with co-work, nanny share, and equally having them be in an outdoor space. Like, I'm not going to say that it doesn't exist already. It does. Co-work is not a new thing. Neither is having some kind of a creche. But having the outside concept where children are out in nature, they're learning, but they're going at their own pace and it's not structured or anything like that, that's not out there.
Mm.
Equally, combining my existing work, which is always and has been about helping women, um, creating those workshops where they have the ability to attend and have the nanny share there to support them and be able to fully drop into a space for themselves and not have that sense of guilt.
Yeah.
Because if mothers says that, oh, a door slammed. Sorry.
Speaking of being a mum, in comes
Yeah.
my child.
No, I'm home alone, but
Okay.
the wind. So yeah, and I'm also going to be doing couples workshops in a way where couples again can attend, they can drop into each other because let's face it, couples these days really have to take time out or forward plan or put things into their calendar to
Mm.
have connection, and it's so important, especially when you're parents, because you have so much less time available for each other and left
Yeah.
in the tank at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
100%.
all of that will have the nanny share concept attached so that community can flourish and can grow, but equally they can have the opportunity to emotionally and energetically know that their children are safe. That's something that's really important to me too.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. There's so much coming through already. Firstly, I just wanted to touch on the fact that the unique selling point, putting my marketing head on, which is where I was working with you, which I love, is being outside, the children being outside with the nanny share, and
Yeah.
actually everyone having that safety and then that drop into nervous system as well from being
Mm.
connected to nature, which is that unique selling point that you're bringing, which is really beautiful and really key for a lot of parents who are looking for that, is it's not just
Yeah.
inside. And also I think that where you're bringing your sessions to this as well, it's you and your wisdom and your experience of being a facilitator and bringing connection and helping people to connect, but bringing that into this center and this community that you're building. So it's just this all-encompassing deliciousness.
Oh,
I
thank
feel,
you.
yeah, it's really amazing. I'm so proud of you for moving with this. And
Oh, thank you.
I feel that, I mean, the response that you've had has been incredible, hasn't it? People have just been reaching out to you consistently saying, yeah, this is what I've been looking for, right? And like for
Yeah.
anyone who's got an idea or wants to build a community, like you said, I mean, I work with people all the time that have an idea, but they're just not taking action. They're not putting out their heart's work to say, well, yeah, I needed this, and so I knew there was a community idea, and now you put it out there and it's happening, it's in motion. So anyone else who's watching who's like, yeah, I've thought about this, it just shows you, like, what's the response been like?
Well, it's been overwhelming, but in the most beautiful way. I honestly feel like I've needed a PA. It's just like, yeah, the amount of response and conversations that I've been having, like online and equally in DMs, and just managing all of that, but equally seeing that I'm not alone has been the biggest, most
Mm,
beautiful gift to my heart and to my soul as a mother
yeah.
and as someone who is deeply, deeply dedicated. And I feel a really strong responsibility to bring this kind of community to life.
Yeah. I love that. And you know, this is the power of people leaning into their visibility from their heart and that authenticity, because you're, as I always say, the lighthouse that other parents are looking for, who feel that alignment with you and
Yeah.
actually have that trust with you, because that's what they're looking for in this holistic approach to this
Yeah.
community. And yeah, it's just brilliant. And so people, so they're really clear, they can come along and they can work, and simultaneously they can collaborate with other parents if they wanted to, if they were working, and they can then have their children looked after by the nannies in an outside environment. Where is it going to be, love?
So we're over halfway sold. We've only got about, I think it's 4 spots remaining. I'm keeping this small for the first one, very intentional, and it's going to be at the Central Coast Wetlands at Tuggerah, so right next door to the Golden Grove, where another beautiful Mandy runs the workshops there. And she is so beautiful and nurturing and has so much experience. The children will be doing a 2-hour workshop and attending her space there with the nannies. So the
Great.
children that are between say 0 to 2 will be on site at the cottage. There's 2 rooms dedicated to the children, and then there's an open space there dedicated to the mums. They've even got, 2 kind of lounges similar to behind me, where women that are breastfeeding can come and still sit and feed their children, and then pass them on to the nannies. So the space is going to be set up really beautifully, because there's equally an outdoor space where it's all enclosed and fenced for the children that are staying on site, and the children that are going to the workshop are going to be obviously looked after. The mums on site, they're all mixed. Like, some of them are coming because they're wanting to start a business. And actually, I had a meeting with one of them yesterday, and I've already said, you need to talk to Mandy. um, some of them are in that space. Some of them are, really wanting to focus on their business because they've had time off, because, they've been on maternity leave, or they're working for someone else, but they're wanting to create something on the side. They're all in different places and spaces, but they're all feeling the exact same thing. They don't want to do it alone. They want to be around like-minded mothers who are equally driven, and they don't want to have to feel this pull of having to be one or the other. Like, let's talk about your hat, either this hat or that hat,
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that. And like you say, it's a type of energy that you bring. People want to be around their people. And I think you're bringing a certain type of mum. You know, they'll connect with your language, the type of person you are, the way that you show up. You know, I think it's wonderful. And I already said to you the other day in our check-in session, I was like, this is going to scale, and that you're going to take this, because someone might already be like, well, that's too far for me. Well, don't worry. Mel's going to be Mel's going to be running these in different places, I'm
Yeah,
sure, because of the appetite that we've sensed from the market, right, already, is it's needed and people want it. It's a type of offering and a type of community that people are longing for,
yeah.
which is just amazing. Like, kudos to you, love. You
Thank
took,
you.
you ran with the direction, and it's just like happening. And you're running your women's circles as well on the coast that are coming up for people that are interested in perhaps relaxing and connecting. They're coming up
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, so I have north and south. So at Neighbours at Long Jetty, and then south is Umina Surf Club, which, to be able to be there at sunset, amazing. Especially in winter, we get those kind of magical, kind of fairy sort of fairy floss skies, is what you would say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
beautiful. And just
yeah.
bringing women together to really connect is a powerful offering, which you must love, being in that space to be able to give that to people.
I do. I'm so passionate about helping women of all ages. It's not just women who are, new mums or mums. Like, I help women of all ages. But in the women's circles of the North and South that are coming up, I think I should probably really highlight they're not the ones that have the nanny share attached. They are
Yeah.
just ones for women to come to attend for, that 2.5 hour space. The nanny share workshops are going to be me collaborating with other facilitators that have had a really long time in the industry as well, and who are bringing their expertise to
Mhm.
the workshops that we're going to be running. And I'm going to be launching them in the next couple of weeks, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
But yeah, the co-work pilot day is only in a couple of weeks as well, so I'm busy.
So good. So good. And the fact that you're running workshops for the parents to come along, And
Mm.
then they get to connect and do something holistic and fulfilling and nourishing, while simultaneously the children are also outside being nourished, being
Yeah.
connected by facilitators. Like, it's just such a lovely ecosystem for everyone, like a real win-win. So I
Thank
think it's
you.
amazing. I think it's amazing. Really proud of you. And it was interesting because I was reflecting on the way that you came into my world. And I never forget, you sent me this long voicemail and you were saying, I've been watching you, Mandy, for a year. You were like, I've been
Yeah.
watching you for a year. You've been circling me. I've been wanting to work with you. How do we start? We started with Reach. You met me at a Reach event. And then you came into Reach. We had one session on one to one, and now you're like, I'm in, and you've had, you know, momentum building. For anyone who's watching, who's interested in getting guidance from someone like me or joining a community, what has been the impact for you? What stood out?
Your authenticity. Just you being you, but equally, I think when I was in the room at the Reach event at your Margarita Days, watching you interact with past clients as well and hearing their stories of the impact that you've made on them on an individual level, but on their business and how their business has scaled. And you don't have people in the room that aren't heartfelt, conscious, heart led people. You have people in the room that have all of those qualities, and they have all of those qualities and have that level of alignment because you do. And it's felt. And you, like, in business, it's can be very isolating.
Mhm.
And with what you've created in having this space to be able to kind of meet with other like-minded entrepreneurs, it's incredible. It's honestly been something that I've only been a part of for a very short period of time, only a few months, but like the impact that I'm feeling within myself, within my business, and just within my creative flow has been amazing. So I can't thank you enough, Mandy. And the trust piece that you spoke about before, it's very important to me. Within my
Mhm.
work, it's so important. Within my values, it's so
Mhm.
important. And I watched you for a whole year, and I was previously working with another coach, and he was great, but he was based over in the US, not here. And the moment that I got the opportunity to have you in the same room and sense your energy, I instantly had that trust piece from you. And I think that's a really important piece as well in business, right?
100%, 100%. Thank you for sharing that. I really value your opinion and, you know, the impact it's had. And I feel, I was just saying this to a client before, you know, I feel, and I said this at a recent event, is we've sort of lost touch with feeling into things in life and business,
Yeah.
and really getting a connection with someone. And that trust is so powerful. And knowing, you had that internal knowing. And,
Mm.
you know, this community that you shared with me, in the first place, and how I helped you take aligned action with it. I'm sure you remember, but I locked in with you, and I felt, as we were saying, I felt the offering inside of me. I was like, you have to do this. That was, you know, that was decades of business experience, but that was also my internal intuition and my internal compass, knowing that you needed to do that. And I was like, you're taking action on this. I held you accountable. I held you
Yeah.
accountable. We worked on it together. You took action, and look at us listening to that internal energy.
Yeah.
What's now happening?
Magic.
Yeah, and that's not the cookie cutter style approach of let's go through this
Yeah.
process, let's build this. That's literally you and me together and going, let's go.
And I love that actually that you're saying that, because although things were great with my previous coaches, I had a couple of coaches actually. They did very much so go about things in that sort of, let's go through this step, let's go through that step. And to be fair, my business was in a different place both times when I was working with those people, and it was really in the rebuild phase or pivot phase. And funnily enough, I'm in a pivot phase again now. But the difference was, I think, your experience in business, your experience with listening to your intuition, and then equally us locking in together and just, yeah, making magic.
I know.